if you're looking to start a small business here in Ireland, especially if it's in the wedding industry or, a wedding band, DJ, musician, anything like that, follow along. I might have some interesting information, tips, and ups and downs for you. My name's Justin. I own a few businesses here in Ireland. One of them is a rehearsal studio. We're in it now. It was the office. I did start out in a wedding band here, and then ended up getting a wedding agency. I built it into an agency, looked after a few other wedding bands, and DJs still operate that today. It's called Party Bands. From that, we created an event called Wedfest, and now Wedfest has grown into a massive wedding expo event. We're having a couple of them around the country, one in Cork, one Galway, Kilkenny, and we'll be growing to other locations. From that, we also started a website, which is a wedding planning, a listing directory website, weddings.ie. So if there's anything in there that you think you might get a bit of useful info from, or tips or information, I'm looking to start this podcast series, YouTube channel, whatever, just behind the scenes, like what I've been through, the ups, the downs. Hopefully I can share some information to help people grow their business and get around some of the pitfalls I maybe ran into when I was along my journey. I don't know everything. I'm not a millionaire. I'll be hopefully getting other people on here as well. Do a couple of podcasts with other people in the industry, whether it be in the wedding industry or other small local businesses. Just tips, information. Hopefully people can find it useful. And I'll just be sharing the ups and downs I've had along the way. There's going to be lots more fuck ups and things happening. Hopefully we'll get a couple of wins and hopefully have a bit of crack along the way as well. But I'll go through this video a bit about the past, from school, where it started, to my journey so far, where we're at now, and then hopefully some plans for the future. So I'm from Cookstown, County Tyrone, up north originally. I went to school there. During high school, I wanted to do music, I was joining bands and stuff, having a bit of crack with that. But before I could go and choose my GCSEs, they wouldn't actually let me take music because I was that bad at it. So I couldn't even take music at school. And when I was doing my GCSEs, one of my subjects was business studies. I actually got dropped from that as well because I had no interest. Didn't really care about it. I was sort of a good student at the start, but then I started getting into music and hanging about with lads and playing guitars and drinking and smoking and all the rest of the crack that comes with it. And I thought that was going to sort of lead to a career being a messer. But I ended up not getting back into it. Was looking to stay there and do my A levels. Didn't get back in to sixth form, so I ended up going to college and done a 1-year course, and it was a new course at the time. E-media was called, where it was basically a course learning how to make websites and everything that came along with all like the design software and packages like that. There was one bit in the course to do with sound engineering where we got to use sound recording software. That's the bit I was interested in, wanted to do, because I wanted to go on and study like recording studios and recording music and making music. And this was sort of a step to this, and then hopefully be able to go to uni and, further the recording engineer side of things. But with this 1-year course, I actually learned some amazing skills on how to design websites. And, back in that time was all sort of a new landscape. It was great actually doing it. Because I got to use all that later on in my career, all the design stuff I learned, and how to build websites and market and all that sort of stuff. But went from there. Then I moved to Nottingham when I was 17 to study sound engineering there, and it was great. But I didn't really get involved too much in the whole sound engineering thing. We got to use some nice gear and we're class studios and bits and bobs. But I was more wanting to learn. I just want to play at bands and have the crack, basically. But I didn't get to do a lot of that there. It was all, lots of big machines and recording desks and all that sort of carry on. So I ended up dropping out of that as well. I was working in pubs at the time, and then I ended up going on holidays to Spain, and I never came home again. I never left. I just went to Spain, started working in a pub there. I ended up managing the pub, but it was a live music bar, so I grew crack, booking all the bands, and there was lots of live music and stuff. I ended up forming a band over there. We ended up gigging 5-6 nights a week, and I was doing that for 6 years. Gigging in and out every night, especially during the summer. Busy season is a bit quieter during the winter. A bit boring, not doing much then. And yeah, just left lots of time for drinking and messing and all that sort of carry on. Yeah, so pretty much spent 6 years drinking in Spain and messing about. But there was another group of lads out there in a different band. They ended up getting a contract to go and tour in America and stuff, and they asked me to go play guitar with them. So I went there, had a great time there again in America on tour buses, drinking every night, having the crack, playing gigs, great fun. But yeah, didn't have two 20-euro notes to rub together. But we ended up coming back to Cork City. All the lads were from Cork, and again landed in Cork. No money, nothing. We ended up going into a bar. Me and the drummer seen this other fella singing. We're like, he looks like he needs a band. So yeah, ended up starting a band with him so we could get some gigs to make some money. I remember he was getting 100 quid for his set in the pub at night, and the manager of the pub offered us 150 quid for the band, and we were like, yeah, we'll take it. He still got his 100. Me and the drummer split it, 25 quid each. So we're done that for a while. That's how we started. We eventually grew to the point where we could turn around and ask the pub manager for 300 quid for the band. Here we were delighted. Even looking back on it now, they were getting an absolute steal. Nothing to them. Like, we were packing the pub. The thing, we ended up packing the pub, having a great night. We're a good little band, to be fair. And people started asking us to do weddings. I remember the first one came up and asked us, will you play our wedding? I'll give you 1,500 quid. We were blown away. We're like, how much? Couldn't believe it. So ended up doing weddings, making 1,500 quid. Like, I got very busy because 1,500 quid for a wedding band is extremely cheap as well. We didn't even know at the time. But we ended up getting loads and loads of bookings to the point we're getting fully booked and turning away more gigs than we could do. So I decided to start an agency, Party Bands. Still running it today, still up and running. But it was basically designed a website. I was like, put my band on there, and there's a couple of other bands knocking about the Oliver Plunkett as well. We're like, yeah, we'll put them on there. I'll book them gigs, take a bit of a cut. Again, that agency's still running today. We're still up and running. And yeah, made good money. The band grew as well. We were fully booked, gigging loads. From that agency, then we put on an event in the Oliver Plunkett, the place where we were gigging loads, and called it Wedfest. Basically, all the people that were inquiring were the bands. We got all the bands in the pub during the day on a Sunday. Got all of them in there, and yeah, called it Wedfest. Couples got to come and see a couple of bands during the day. Bands were happy. They were getting bookings, having a bit of crack and all that with the rest of the musicians. Couples obviously happy, getting to see all the music and finding stuff they wanted for their wedding day. We ended up growing that into a couple of events. We were doing that a couple of times a year. I actually called it Wedfest, and then went online, searched for wedfest.ie. There was a couple actually had the domain name and the website for their own wedding, and it just passed. I could see the date, it was 2 months ago, so I just filled in the RSVP form on the website, asking could I buy the domain off them, and to be fair, they were dead on, and they sold it to me for 250 quid. At the time, that was a lot of money for me. Like, I remember sitting thinking for a good few days and stressing about spending 250 notes on the name. But very, very happy now that he did sell it to me for that cheap. Fair play to him. And yeah, the thing from that website, we sort of grew it. Well, we actually went into COVID at this time, so all the gigs stopped. Everything went tits up. Yeah, I remember having to go and take a loan out so to pay back deposits. Because I was taking deposits to run the business. Like when we take a deposit at our party bands agency, it's for the work we do, doing the bookings and getting everything organised, and so all the payments were coming in. I was doing the work. COVID happened. There was couples wanted their money back, and so yeah, I was having to pay back money. I had to take out a loan at the time. That was quite tough. Now, a lot of the couples were very good and were just kicking it down the road, and we were working with them. And if they couldn't have our band, it was giving them another band or giving them a voucher so they could get something. So there was a lot worked with us, and yeah, we could just kick it down the road and make it happen. But yeah, I think paying back the deposits at the time, as sore as it was, and I was paying off the loan for a good few years after, done us favours because it kept good word with us, and I think the work did come back to us eventually, and we got a good name out of it that way. But during when that had happened, weren't gigging. The rehearsal room we were actually in at the point with our band and another band, it ended up closing down. The fellow that was renting couldn't pay his rent, so everybody had to get out. We went out there, got all the gear into the van. We ended up having to rent a locker storage room, threw all the gear in there. But me and the fellow that actually runs this place with me, Adam, he was in a band, you see. He was a drummer in one of the bands. We were working together. He was like, do we just go and see if we can find our own warehouse storage place? If we can make a rehearsal room, we will. So we did find this place. It was an old car warehouse, mechanics. So yeah, got this. We ended up building a rehearsal room, spent months and months and months, me and Adam at it, just watching YouTube how to build recording studios. And yeah, sure, we weren't doing anything else. We weren't gigging or doing anything. He was doing bits of work. He started up a little vintage clothes shop business, actually. We'll get him onto the podcast sometime. But he started up, and that's still going strong. He's been growing that as well. But at the same time, we had time in our hands, got this place, loads of work painting and building and messing and wrecking about. Since then, we've actually added another room to it. We've got the podcast room next door. We've got this room. We've got a storage area as well, and we're actually thinking of building another storage unit. So we might think about doing bits of hire equipment, so bands, musicians can come here if they need a set of speakers or a drum kit, guitar amp, microphones, little small PA bits. They can come here, hire the gear out, take it to the gig and drop it back the next day. So we're planning to get that all up and running over the next couple of weeks. So I might see bits and bobs of that happening. But yeah, so we spent time in here building the lab, and then after that, when I went back to work after COVID, because I was going to wedding fairs beforehand. I went to 2 or 3. There was a big one in Park Aqueve in Cork. So we were going to that, very, very busy. And what I was doing was, all the couples that I was talking to, I was like, yeah, come and see our bands. We're playing in 2 weeks. I always had our Wedfest event 2 weeks after. So all the couples at the wedding fair, I would tell them to come and check out all the acts. So there was that, and then there was another wedding fair in the city, a smaller one. It was quite bad, actually. It was rubbish. And the thing, I'd come back after COVID and went to this one, and it was absolutely dire, rubbish. 14 people turned up at it, and all of the 14 people there, I had already been speaking to through my party bands business. I'd already booked them. And I'd spent 400 or 500 quid going there to showcase in the day. And it was, nobody turned up. It was absolutely rubbish. There was no promo. Like, the whole setup was dire. And the fella running it was an absolute cowboy getting away with it. And you know, I thought, why would I give him my money when I could just spend that money that I actually really, really needed? It was a lot of money at the time coming out of COVID. I needed that money to get more work. And instead of giving it to him, I could just spend it on my own thing. So I was like, yeah, I'll just spend it on my own WedFest events, make them bigger and better. But I got in touch with the organisers at the Park of Queeve, the big one there. They were so busy after they came back. They ran a wedding business as well. They were so busy they couldn't put on this big event. So I asked, could I put it on in there, and would they sponsor it and jump in with me and give me a bit of hand? So yeah, we basically made WedFest massive. We brought hundreds of, well, not hundreds, it was 100 suppliers of 30, 40 hotels and venues, between 60 and 70 wedding suppliers like photographers, celebrants, videographers, bands, DJs, cake makers, you name it. Anything to do with weddings was there, dresses and suits, the whole lot. So we got all the suppliers there. I also had a main stage room down the back that had all the live music and the bands on. And then we had a fashion show room as well, put on a massive fashion show. We basically made an event that was like, yeah, I'll make WedFest like a festival vibe. There was plenty of music at it. It was a good bit of crack, entertaining. Yeah, it was really, really successful. And I designed the website for it where the wedding suppliers, when they're signing up for the show, they could make a profile on there, because all the couples were sent there to buy the tickets. They had to buy the tickets off the website. And I was spending, you know, up to 10 grand on meta ads for Facebook and Instagram. So the website was getting lots and lots and lots of views, loads of hits. So I was thinking, why not do I make this website into, a national site all around Ireland? Let all wedding businesses sign up for it, and then we'll take WedFest, the show, which is in Cork, and take it on the road. And that's what we're doing now. We're going into Galway and Kilkenny. So Cork, Kilkenny, Galway next year. And with that, yeah, we've made it a national business where all couples from all over Ireland can go on there and hopefully get some use out of it. And all wedding businesses and venues on there can sign up for a profile, get a subscription, have their profile on there, and hopefully we can match wedding suppliers and the, wedding couples together. We've also put a business hub on here. That's part of the reason we're starting this video series, podcast, whatever it is. In the business hub, we want to make videos and courses for wedding suppliers to learn how to do Facebook ads, Instagram ads, design websites, do marketing materials, how to do podcasts, just as much helpful information as we can, and put it into this business hub so other people can learn from it. And hopefully we can learn as well. This is why I want to get other wedding businesses on here so we can chat to them, we can learn, and hopefully show it to, plenty of wedding businesses and couples as well. So couples can learn a bit more about the suppliers and all that type of stuff. So this is part of the reason for this video series. We're looking to grow our weddings.ie WedFest. We want to take to more locations. The lab, this rehearsal studio that we're in, is growing as well. The Zingo want to go in and do a bit of PA hire and stuff. The party bands business is still up and running. We still book bands and DJs locally around here, Cork and Kerry. We have another website on the way, musobooker.com. It is up and running, but it's not. We haven't launched the business as such yet. Basically, we want to make that a subscription-based website where bands, DJs, singers, recording artists can sign up for a profile there. Again, be matched with gig bookers, wedding couples, venue holders. So if they're looking for music for their events, they can type in the event and it'll send it out, hopefully match up the musicians with the event organizers. And there'll be a back end there for musicians so they can talk to other musicians. There'll be a buy and sell page there as well. Maybe you can match up and do recording projects and stuff like that together. So that will be getting launched hopefully in the next couple of months. We'll maybe show the behind the scenes of that. And if you're involved in any of these things, especially the wedding industry or maybe a band or DJ, hopefully there'll be something here you can learn. But even for any small business, like we want to take any of the stuff, like for a wedding celebrant, the marketing techniques and how to do ads and bits and bobs like that, that can be transferred into like a plumbing business or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So hopefully we can grow this just from a wedding sector business hub into a small business hub where we can make courses for all types of industries. That's the plan over the next whiles. If um, if you're interested in any of this stuff, follow along, subscribe, follow us in any of the social media channels. Send a message if you have any questions, or maybe if you want to get involved, be on a podcast or whatever, have a chat. Please send me a message. I would love to hear from you. And yeah, hopefully we'll get some wins along the way. There's definitely going to be some fuck ups and plenty of failures ahead, but yeah, hopefully we can have a bit of crack as well along the way, and it can be a bit entertaining. Yeah, catch up soon and see you on the next one.